Joining us now, trial attorney, legal analyst, and co-host of the M&M in the Morning podcast, Mercedes Colwin. Welcome to Chicago.
Oh, so wonderful to be here in person.
Oh,
this
really
is great.
Really great to have you. This case has captured national attention for many reasons. And now you've got Gonzalez saying that he lied about the circumstances and when he was actually on the train. How big of a deal does this become?
That is such a great question, Marni. It is explosive for the prosecution because it is so problematic when you have a key witness who already has an agreement with the prosecutor, now changing his story. That's devastating to the prosecution, and it's great for the defense. They're going to exploit this difference. So that difference in testimony, he was already suspect. He has a non-prosecution agreement with the prosecutor, so already his testimony is going to be suspicious and perhaps biased. At least that's what the defense would argue. But when you have him admit on the stand, I changed my story. I was afraid I was going to be charged for murder, so that's why I changed my story. It's devastating for the prosecution.
And then how does the jury interpret that, right? I mean, they're hanging on every word, and this throws them a curveball.
Oh, completely. I mean, it is, as a trial lawyer, you watch the jury really hang on the edge of their seats with key testimony. And we knew that Gonzalez was going to be a key witness for the prosecution. And then to have this come to them, it's going to be very problematic for that jury. Every single witness is going to be subject to credibility. And when you have a devastating impact, like someone who lies, who admits to lying, the credibility is pretty much shot. They're going to have to rehabilitate him. We still have redirect. We'll see what the prosecution can do. And they obviously closing arguments to sort of rehabilitate Gonzalez. But that is a very problematic blow for the prosecution.
Explosive. So a couple more questions on this before I move on to another big case. What does the defense strategy look like? And if there is a guilty verdict, does this one element give them more grounds to appeal?
Well, the defense is really focusing on the terror that the passengers had in that train car. They want the jurors to step into that train car at that moment. It's very it's different because obviously you're in a courtroom. It's not what it was like then when Jordan Neely was in that chokehold. So really focus on the terror, and we already hear it. We heard it from the witnesses. One witness says, "I thought I was going to die that day," and the fact that Jordan Neely was screaming, "Someone's going to die in this car. I don't care if I have to go back to Rikers," and jumping into people's faces. People were truly terrified. The witnesses that came forward have been able to establish that. The defense really has to focus in on that. And then the other issue is, the really big issue for the defense is that Jordan Neely, by all accounts, was alive when the authorities arrived. So as long as you can remove the causation that it wasn't Daniel Penny that caused the death of Jordan Neely, it's rather what happened afterwards when law enforcement came in. They didn't give him they didn't resuscitate him. They didn't do mouth-to-mouth. They did do chest compressions. But he died in the hands of law enforcement. So as long as they can drive that in, they can literally see an acquittal.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.